need that guy. And I think Ilia Topuria and Islam might be that for each other. So while you may not like each other, you may need each other to go to the next level.
Telling me right now you think he beats Islam?
I think he beats Islam.
Oh my God.
I always thought he would beat Islam. Here's why. Because Islam, I think Islam had struggled with in the Volkanovski fight, the very first Volkanovski fight, he struggled with getting underneath Alexander Volkanovski.
Said earlier this week that if Islam loses that fight, he wouldn't give the opportunity for Islam to fight for his belt again. Is that something you'd bypass? Because that seems like such a big fight to make.
I mean, this is all talk.
Speculative.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine that's a fight you guys would want to make at some point. I mean, just the magnitude
Sure.
of it.
I mean, I'd make that fight tomorrow.
Daniel just said something about the likely meeting between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, and whether Ilia can get ahead of Islam in the P for P rankings. However, Daniel Cormier and Din Thomas argued on who is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Din pushed Ilia Topuria and talked about his style and how he might cause problems for Islam Makhachev.
You're telling me right now you think he beats Islam?
I think he beats Islam.
Oh my God.
I always thought he would beat Islam. Here's why. Because Islam, I think Islam had struggled with in the Volkanovski fight, the very first Volkanovski fight, he struggled with getting underneath Alexander Volkanovski. Islam struggled to get underneath him to be able to take him down. He's going to have a hard time getting underneath Topuria. He's going to have a hard time getting underneath Topuria to take him down. If you don't take him down, he's getting knocked.
Cormier, on the other hand, said that Islam was the best boxer per pound. He suggested that if Islam advances in weight and wins, especially against someone like Jack Della Maddalena, it will demonstrate his superiority across categories.
I would imagine that you don't agree with my next point then, because I was going to say he is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter today. But if Islam is able to beat Jack Della Maddalena, it flips again. And then Islam goes back to #1 pound for pound. Only because it is, Dean. Dean, listen. Only because it is. Fighting style will then be proven to go up to the next weight class. So then Islam will have done everything Topuria has done at a heavier weight, 4 title defenses at 155, and then the new champion at welterweight. So yes, I agree. He is pound-for-pound #1 today. But I think the moment, if Islam is able to win, he then goes back to pound-for-pound #1.
People like Din Thomas and Daniel Cormier kept arguing about whether Islam Makhachev's win over Jack Della Maddalena made him the best fighter in terms of weight. Din laughed at the idea, saying that Jack didn't have the credentials or legacy to make such a win important.
Absolutely not. Because the win over Jack Della Maddalena doesn't really prove it. I mean, in fact, Jack was like ranked 7 until he won the belt.
But this
Jack's not a Hall of Famer, like the way he don't have the strength to schedule to Ilia.
Cormier said that Ilia Topuria hasn't faced as much opposition and has been favored in all of his past fights except for the one against Islam. He also said that winning a second title would show how great Islam is. Din disagreed, saying that Ilia's odds reflect his abilities and that Islam would need to defeat a legend like Usman to truly claim the top slot.
Ilia right now will only fight fights he's supposed to win until he fights Islam. Because every one of his challengers, right now, he's -600 against Paddy. He's -300 against Arman. He's -350 against Justin. Only person he's an underdog to is Makhachev. So if Makhachev becomes the welterweight champ, doesn't he go back to pound-for-pound #1, Dean?
Absolutely not. The fact that Ilia is such a strong favorite already says enough about how good we think he is.
I think he's great too.
And if Makhachev beats Jack Della Maddalena, that to me, that's not really the feather in his cap that he needs. He needs to beat a stronger opponent. I think he needs to beat a Hall of Famer. If he were to knock out Kamaru Usman, that would be different.
Daniel Cormier, on the other hand, said that Ilia Topuria was a competitor who had acted very well. He questioned the crowd's booing, saying Ilia had done nothing wrong and carried himself with dignity. There are some who compare Ilia to Conor McGregor, but Cormier says that Ilia is not at all like that when he's not in the cage.
Hey guys, so it's time for my final thought. Ilia Topuria is great. I tell you one thing, it don't matter if you love him or you hate him. I don't understand why so many were booing him over the course of last week, when in reality, all he has done is the right thing. I get it. There are a lot of comparisons to Conor McGregor, but there's a lot of differences in Ilia Topuria. He has not carried himself in the way that McGregor did. So while there are similarities in the fight career, we have to understand who Ilia Topuria has shown us to be as the man is vastly different. So while the actions are great inside the octagon, to this point, all he has shown us is great actions outside of the octagon.
Cormier also addressed the friction between Ilia Topuria and Dagestani fans, admitting that the connection is strained, but thinking that respect remains. He stressed Ilia's confidence and presence, saying they indicate a warrior who is fully committed to his goal. Cormier also stated that Ilia's current performance is as outstanding as anything watched in the sport.
I know my great friends out in Dagestan may not have the best relationship with him, but I do know if I know these guys, they respect what he has done inside the octagon. We'll see what happens in the future. But as of today, just acknowledge that this kid is great and he's different. And what he's doing to this point is as good as anything we have seen in a really long time. That confidence, that smile, that walk lets you know that you are watching an individual who believes that only success lies ahead of him every time they step into the octagon.
In another podcast, Daniel Cormier stated that he, like Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov, depended on each other to reach new levels. Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev could form the next big feud. He mentioned that even if they don't like each other, they may need to work together to advance their professions.
You need that guy. And I think Ilia Topuria and Islam might be that for each other. So while you may not like each other, you may need each other to go to the next level. So I appreciate Conor for helping Khabib achieve the life that he has today.
Furthermore, Robert Whittaker stated that Ilia Topuria is the UFC's biggest star right now and deserves the top pound-for-pound place. He cited Topuria's momentum and excellent wins against Volkanovski, Holloway, and Oliveira, as well as his weight gain, as important reasons in his success. He nevertheless praised Islam Makhachev, calling him a great warrior who belongs right up there with Topuria. However, he pointed out that Islam's most recent battle was against a replacement opponent, which had less importance. Whittaker thinks Topuria's timing, performances, and hype have obviously elevated him to the top spot for the time being. Dana White also reacted to Ilia Topuria's comments about perhaps denying Islam Makhachev a championship chance if he loses, saying it was just chatter. He stated that the UFC would still want to make that fight, emphasizing how large and thrilling it would be for fans.
When, everyone's really excited to potentially see a future fight with him and Islam. I know that's the fight that people wanted. Ilia said earlier this week that if Islam loses that fight, he wouldn't give the opportunity for Islam to fight for his belt again. Is that something you'd bypass? Because that seems like such a big fight to make.
I mean, this is all talk.
Speculative.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine that's a fight you guys would want to make at some point. I mean, just the magnitude
Sure.
of it.
I mean, I'd make that fight tomorrow.
Earlier, Daniel Cormier stated that Islam Makhachev aims to leave a strong legacy, but occasionally feels neglected. He stated that fans expecting a fight with Ilia Topuria may be disappointed, since Khabib's team only accepts their full support. Cormier said that their words should be taken carefully since they always speak truthfully.
Khabib is about as straight a shooter as you're ever going to find. I'm telling you, when he's mad at me, he tells me. When he's mad at someone else, he tells you. He doesn't hide. So when you hear him say things publicly, take it as fact. This isn't him posturing. This isn't these guys trying to raise the price on a fight or anything. This is a true emotion, a true feeling, because honestly, that's how these guys operate. Islam has title fight victories, but they're Volkanovski, huge name of the featherweight, Dustin Poirier, name, right? And he probably felt the love after Renato Moicano, right? On short notice. So of his 4 fights, there are a lot of situations where he just didn't probably feel the love. And if you're trying to build a legacy, you got to feel that love. The update should not feel good for people that support the idea that Ilia Topuria should fight next. I'm just being honest with you, because I'm telling you, I know these dudes. I know these dudes, and I know when they talk to you, you might as well listen, because they're telling you the truth. Love it or hate it, they're telling you the truth. Dude ain't doing what he doesn't want to do.
Furthermore, Demetrius Johnson analyzed the possible clash, stating that Islam Makhachev, as a southpaw, will most likely rely on body kicks, mobility, and feints to keep distance. He also suggested that Islam use his judo to take the fight to the ground and work for submission.
Islam's a southpaw, so he's gonna probably throw body kicks to keep his arms busy, keep the distance, move, feint, maybe use some judo to take him down and try to get him to the ground and try to submit him. But, you know, once again, like I have to see, you know, I have to see what Islam does at JDM.
He emphasized Ilia Topuria's stunning danger, saying that if Ilia discovers his range, he becomes a genuine threat, even if it takes time. Ilia typically gets to land. The essential question, according to Demetrius, is whether Islam can escape the danger zone or choose to engage there.
But, you know, I know the one thing that's the factor is that Ilia is always going to focus on getting to the right spot and fighting his opponents. When he gets there, he's going to unload. If Ilia can't get there, then he's going to figure another way to get there. So the question is, how does everybody avoid that sweet spot against Ilia? That's the question, because Ilia is going to fight in a 25-minute fight. That's what it comes down to. And then you go from like, hey, how does Islam keep Ilia away from that spot, or does Islam meet him there? Right? There's so much, you know, that goes into it, and my brain is all over the place. So for me to give like a clear-cut answer, I just, you know, I'm just like, I'm running around in circles.
Corey Sandhagen stated that he likes Ilia Topuria in a fight against Islam Makhachev. He thinks that Ilia's strong physique will make takedowns tough for Islam, and if the fight continues, Ilia has a clear advantage. Sandhagen also commended Ilia's defense and stated that he does not think Islam may cause significant damage.
I honestly think Ilia would win that fight.
Let me get your breakdown of that fight.
I'm gonna actually go against, I think, what most people say, and I honestly think Ilia would win that fight. I think his like stature is gonna be hard to take down for Islam, and I think if those two are standing, I just think that Ilia is a way dangerous guy standing, and I just can't really see Islam like hurting him because his guard is real good, and I think Ilia will win that.
Bello Muhammad claimed that Ilia Topuria shown strong grappling against Charles Oliveira. However, facing Islam Makhachev would be a much more difficult task. He believes in trying his cardio in the later rounds.
Obviously, the fight everybody wants to see is him in Islam. He showed that he does have wrestling defense. He defended Oliveira's takedowns on the ground. He passed his guard. He got to good positions on the ground. I know people are saying, oh, he got up from the ground, he didn't play the guard. It's like, he played the ground a little bit, then he got up, and then he knocked him out. So I don't know what you guys want. Everybody they're never satisfied, but I mean, he looked great. For me, when I look at that matchup and I break it down, I think Islam is very good with defense and with distance. If he's close, he's grappling. He's not staying in that brawling zone that Topuria loves. If he's within grabbing your range, he's grabbing you. And I don't care if Topuria is able to defend a first or second takedown, Islam's gonna keep you there. He's gonna push you on the cage. If I'm in Islam's corner, that's what I'm doing. I'm keeping him there, especially for the first, second, third round, trying to initiate that takedown. Oliveira got the body lock pretty early. Islam is really good there with the trips, with the body locks, with the single legs there. I think he would have continued grappling there, and it would have been a lot more interesting. It would have definitely got past the first round, and we would have seen how Topuria held up. He didn't really need to show his car.
He went on to say that the bout should take place and would be exciting, adding that it is more than just a striker versus grappler clash because Islam has improved his hitting. Bello expects Ilia to put pressure on Islam and try to keep him in the cage where he is unhappy. He also praised Islam's efforts.
That one's a fun one, man. I'm excited for it. If it does happen, I do think it needs to happen. Stylistically, I don't think it's grappler against striker. Islam showed his last couple fights that he is comfortable on the feet. He's fought the shorter guy in Volkanovski, and he's played a little bit striking, showed moments in that fight where he knocked him out with a head kick. And then the Dustin fight, he showed his boxing. He showed that he can hit on the feet. I think with Topuria, who does have really good grappling, really good wrestling, he's gonna wanna push Islam backwards, keeping Islam on his back foot, keeping Islam against the cage where he's uncomfortable, and he's really good with his feinting.
Furthermore, Benil Dariush stated that he prefers Islam Makhachev in a prospective battle against Ilia Topuria. Due to Islam's size and ability to combine distance control with takedowns, he thinks Islam's effective use of kicks and wrestling could cause Ilia serious issues. Dariush did, however, admit that given Ilia's power, he wouldn't be surprised if he ended up knocking Islam out.
I think it would still go the same. I think, Islam has such a big size advantage, and if he, distance kicks, takedown, rinse and repeat. If he continues to mix those things up, I think it would be a difficult fight for Ilya, but you know, from what I saw, it wouldn't be surprise me if he was able to put Makhachev's lights out too.
However, Belal Muhammad decided that both fighters are likely already in talks with the UFC to make the fight materialize. He thinks Ilya is reasonably regarded, neither overhyped or neglected, and credits him with earning respect through knockout victories over Holloway, Volkanovski, and Oliveira.
On the other side, Islam is really good with his kicks. If he mixes the kicks up low, body high, Islam's not going to be in that boxing range unless he's grabbing you. I'm sure both of them are on the call or are on the line right now talking to Hunter or Dana, and they're trying to work that fight. Is Topuria underrated or overrated? I mean, I think he's rated right? He's your last 3 wins, be a knockout of Holloway, who's never been knocked out before, to knock out Volk, who looked great at the last fight, and then now just to knock out Oliveira at 155 up a weight class. I mean, how can you deny the guy? He talks and he says what he's gonna do and he does it. So you gotta respect him, you gotta give it to him. But yeah, I don't think he's underrated.
Arman Tsarukyan boldly asserted that if Islam Makhachev had met Ilia Topuria at UFC 317, the fight would have finished in a knockout. He thinks Islam is performing at a higher level and anticipates a significant revolution in the sport. While he admires Islam's abilities, Arman's ultimate goal is to surpass everyone and become the world's best fighter.
What do you think would have happened if Ilya fought Islam this weekend?
Islam Makhachev.
He would have beaten him?
By TKO.
Oh, wow. Really?
I mean, that's a different level of fighters.
You think so? Wow.
You can't compare Ilya versus Islam.
Really? I have Ilya #1 pound for pound now.
Yes, because Islam not champion anymore right now.
Right.
But when he get the second title, he's gonna be pound for pound #1.
So you think he beats Jack?
He beats Jack.
Yeah.
Became a pound for pound #1. I'll be pound for pound #2 champion lightweight division, and then beat Islam and became a pound for pound #1.
Wow, I love it. You have it all.
Cody Brundage complimented Ilya's knockout victories over Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski, claiming that a win over Islam Makhachev will propel him into the conversation as one of the best fighters of all time, possibly even in the top 3. He stressed Ilya's dominance and how another huge win could affect his legacy.
It's a crazy fight. You know, we talked about that. You know, Yusuf obviously at 145, he's on a tear. He's making his come up, and he wants that Ilya fight so bad. They already fought once, but we were talking about if Ilya goes in and knocks out Islam Makhachev, like how high do we put him on the GOAT list? Right? Like to me, I'm like, John Jones is #1 no matter what. I don't think anybody could surpass John Jones for a long time. Obviously it would take a ton, but everyone in my circle at least is like, man, if he goes and knocks out Islam after knocking out Holloway, after knocking out Volk, he's got to be up there like top 3.
Brundage also stated that Ilya's grappling is often underestimated, citing his excellent wrestling background and jiu-jitsu abilities. Nonetheless, he picked Islam to win due to the size difference, describing it as a critical component in a close match. He expects the fight to be interesting and competitive.
And he could do it. I think people, like, he's been knocking all these people out. People really sleep on Ilya's grappling. He's a super high-level black belt with really good submissions, really good wrestling. And so I think people are saying, like, oh, he'll get out-wrestled, but he has great wrestling. So, man, I don't know. I would have to go with Islam because he's bigger, and I think weight maybe plays a factor when you have 2 really highly skilled guys, but that would be an absolute banger.
Georges St. Pierre praised both Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, describing them as highly well-rounded and competent fighters. He stressed Islam's ability to control opponents with ease, frequently dropping them with minimal effort, and listed his unrelenting pressure and exceptional grappling as significant attributes that make the clash intriguing for fans.
Yeah, I mean, that's another same thing. I mean, Topuria, when he touches, it falls, you know, and on the other side, Makhachev, he applies so much pressure. He's an elite grappler. I mean, they're both good in every area. It's a great fight for the fans.
In another statement, St. Pierre complimented both men's great level of expertise while reminding supporters that no one is unbeatable. He stated that even the most dominant warriors are human, and in a sport like MMA, one minor error can lead to defeat, making each fight unpredictable.
His skill set are amazing. I mean, he's champion for a reason, but nobody is invincible. Everybody can lose, everybody can make a mistake.
Matush Gamrot discussed a possible fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, calling it an attractive matchup but questioning Topuria's chances. He emphasized the obvious size gap, claiming Islam's physical strength and all-around skill set gave him a major advantage. Gamrot highlighted that in order to genuinely combat someone like Islam, a fighter must be of equivalent size and power, which he thinks Topuria lacks.
Interesting fight, but but I don't know. Topuria is small guy. Islam is really big guy, and I don't think that Topuria has changed against him. You know, like if you wanna fight with Islam, you have to be like big guy, like similar like him, because he's good everywhere. But if your body is smaller than him, so you don't have change for sure.
Dustin Poirier thinks that if Ilia Topuria can defend Islam Makhachev's takedowns, his striking and power will give him an advantage. He praised Islam's improved striking and intelligent mobility, remembering how he fought at a difficult range during their matchup. Nonetheless, Poirier thinks the size difference will be a significant challenge for Topuria and may decide the outcome.
What do you think he would do against Islam?
I mean, if he can stop the takedowns, I think his boxing is better than Islam's. I think he's a bigger puncher. Yeah. Islam's technique is getting a lot better on the feet. He's kind of crafty and elusive. When I fought him, you know, he fought at a weird range, but I think the size difference is just too much, I believe.
That's all for today's show. So, what are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts on their possible matchup? Please share your ideas in the comments box, and if you liked the video, subscribe and like it. Check out the other videos on the screen right now.